Good morning, everyone. Whoa, my intro did not play, but hello. I am so glad to be here. Welcome into Kindness Rising. Good morning, good morning. Getting up and getting after it this morning on the Mornings in the Lab Network. I am so glad you've chosen to spend your time with me to get up, get after it with a little bit more high fives for humanity and a little less rage bait. Welcome in, get involved in the chat, say hello in the comments. We are a community here and we are ready for you. Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Where is my stuff? There it is. Now the show. We're bringing in the part. Today we are talking about how some things deserve to be seen. Acts of kindness, hidden struggles, people doing good work, but other things, nah. We don't need to see that or hear that. Your private conversations, your personal struggles, and the quiet parts of your lives. And on this day in 2013, a man named Edward Snowden stepped forward and revealed himself as the source of one of the biggest government leak stories in modern history, and his actions sparked debate that is still going on today. How much should be visible? How much should remain private? I know one thing that needs to be more visible. That's my face, because I forgot to turn my light on. Hello, everybody. I'll be turning my light on now because, we do it. Look at that. The sun just came out. It's a beautiful day. And we are talking about what's supposed to be visible. And here I am with all my friends in the house today. Jess, recovering from her birthday day. Kathleen the donkey was up this morning posting. I saw your posts on YouTube. Keith, always at it. Oh, they're pouring in. Cheryl Raphael Whitaker, love you. Thank you so much for joining. Sully, always on the mark. Good morning. Welcome into Mornings in the Lab for another thrilling day in the loop as we get up and get after it together right here on Kindness Rising. So let's rise together. Visibility feels like a superpower these days. We're encouraged to share more, to post more, reveal more, and document more. Every meal, every opinion, every vacation, every belch, whatever, somewhere along the way, we started treating visibility as proof of value. If it's not posted, it didn't happen. But if nobody sees it, does it count? Kindness has been teaching a little bit of a different lesson for thousands of years, that not everything good needs an audience. Not every act of generosity needs a photograph, and not every struggle needs to be broadcast. Not every part of ourselves belong in public, right? Absolutely. I'm about to sneeze and I don't have a tissue. Okay, whatever. We'll just go along with the flow. Good morning, Roseanne. Mother. Hello, welcome in. We're talking about privacy today. We're talking about our friends who keep our confidence, the coworker who doesn't spread gossip, the manager who corrects you privately instead of publicly, right? Those are the acts of kindness that build trust in a world where technology makes everything visible. The harder skill is learning what deserves protection, for sure. Protecting something precious, making sure that trust survives. In a world where almost everything can be seen, maybe one of the greatest gifts we can offer each other is knowing what should actually remain unseen. Absolutely. Jess, that is Kindness Rising in action right there. I'm going to get these comments up on the stage, but I'm showing yours specifically. I mean, it's your birthday and you're out there giving the gifts. I think you get it. Jess. Thank you so much. And I know Sully gets it, and I know Keith gets it, and Cheryl and the whole crew, Roseanne, Mom. Yep. You all get it. All right. I appreciate you guys joining me here. We're going to get into our our little game for today. What is the game? The game is Who in the World? Celebrating the birthday of some person who we may know. See who can guess. I know they've been a little bit more difficult lately. I think this one probably, I wouldn't doubt it if somebody gets it right off the first clue. But because I know about this person, I'm cocky because I know about this person. I knew this. Oh, shoot. Hold, please. Here is your first clue in today's Who in the World. Today's mystery person was born in Jerusalem, but became one of the most recognizable faces in American film. There may be a couple of people that meet that, but I think I may have guessed this person at some point. It was just that clue. There it is. Today's mystery person was born in Jerusalem, but became one of the most recognized faces in American film. All right, let's keep moving along, and we'll get to another clue here in a moment. But first, as always, we have to do our spotlight. Welcome into everybody to Kindness Rising. I'm so glad you've joined us. We always highlight an organization doing good work. Here is today's. Today we are highlighting an organization called the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Founded in 1990, before Google, before social media. Excuse me, I'm trying to also share their website. Before social media, before all of your smartphones, the EFF was actually created to help people. Yes, leading nonprofit defending digital privacy, free speech, and innovation. For more than 35 years, they've worked on issues involving digital privacy, free expression, encryption, government surveillance, and of course, consumer rights in the digital age. And there's a lot of questions that they answer, and they're still being asked. Ever since most of us ever heard that first phrase, World Wide Web. Who owns the data? Who has access to it? How much privacy should individuals expect in a connected world? My answer to that has been for a long time, none. Live right, live straight, and maybe you can not worry too much about your privacy, but we all have our moments, right? Whether you agree with every position they take isn't really the point, though. Organizations like EFF help ensure these conversations happen in public and not just behind closed doors. Because kindness is about respect, boundaries, and dignities. Respect for personal space in both digital and physical. This is definitely a human issue that EFF is dealing with, even though we are talking about the digital world. There they are, EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, helping people understand the implications of privacy and the reveal of data. All right, that was our kindness spotlight for today. All right. I'm reading the comments. That sometimes I go pause because I'm like, okay, it takes me a second to catch up. Oh, you were a NIPERG person, Sully. Yep, NIPERG shows up at our door every summer. Were you a door knocker for NIPERG? Absolutely. I know all about NIPERG. Absolutely. The New York Public Interest Group. And you expected none. Yep. We expect no privacy. Absolutely. All right. And I guess it was Edward Snowden. A door knocker. Yeah. June 9th, 2013, a 29-year-old former intelligence contractor named Edward Snowden stepped in front of the camera in Hong Kong, and publicly identified himself as the source behind government leaked documents that had already begun shaking governments. The Guardian and the Washington Post revealed the existence of these extensive surveillance programs. The leaks showed that intelligence agencies were collecting vast amounts of communications data, phone metadata, information gathered through programs that access data from major technology. At first, he revealed these secrets as anonymous, but then he voluntarily voluntarily stepped forward and essentially said it was me. And that's when the controversy really began. Right? Snowden, some people say he's a whistleblower, others say he's uh, a a hero. I don't know. He became a fugitive, though, who violated national security laws, compromised intelligence operations, and potentially endangered lives by exposing classified information. But more than a decade later, reasonable people will still disagree on whether it was a good thing or not. But unlike historical events where consensus eventually emerges, Snowden's a figure viewed very differently depending on where you stand. He definitely helped launch a public conversation about digital tracking, facial recognition, AI, the debate that continues. And where is he now? He's he's in Moscow seeking asylum. He remained in Russia for years and received permanent residency in 2002. Yep. And his criminal charges in the United States remain unresolved. If he were to return to the U.S., he would still face prosecution under the Espionage Act. Yep. It isn't really a question about, oh, cool. This really isn't a question about him. It's about how do we balance our security and our freedom and how much privacy should we expect? I think Jess and I answered that question from our perspective. How much transparency should governments provide? What do you think? They didn't end on June 9, 2013, but those questions feel even more relevant in today's age. So Edward Snowden, you guys remember all that stuff. And it continues on with the questions that we ask about privacy every day in our digital world. All right. Thanks for indulging me on that. Wait, that happened today? Segment. All right. And we got to move on. We're going to move on to our, let's get this music going here a little bit. I don't know. You want to try this one? That was supposed to go with the Snowden article segment, but we're doing it with this instead. Whatever. All right, back to our clues. Anybody got a clue? Anybody got an idea? I know you guys are now holding back. Today's mystery person was born in Jerusalem, but became one of the most recognizable faces in American film. Here's your second clue. At the height of fame, this person chose to attend Harvard while simultaneously appearing in an epic movie franchise. Born in Jerusalem, wow, it's a tough one to get out today. Recognizable face in American film, went to Harvard and appeared in an epic movie franchise. That's our second clue. Don't do that. Second clue, I almost lost you all entirely. Second clue today. All right. What is going on in the world here? All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining here on Kindness Rising on the Mornings in the Lab Network, where we get up and get after it every day, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, as part of the Mornings in the Lab Network. Absolutely. Every day, new shows, new content that you can get up and rise to. 7:30 a.m. here, 8 o'clock with Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Today is Tuesday, so that means we're going to have Sarah Barnes Humphrey with Let's Talk Supply Chain and Thoughts and Coffee show for sure. And then tomorrow, the big Wednesday with Cheryl Raphael Whitaker. But every day you can join me here, 8:30 a.m. It's 8:30 a.m. I don't know, somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. 7:30 a.m. Eastern. That's what time it is when we get started. All right, let's move along. Media assets. Just talking out loud to myself. All right. What haven't we done in a while? This looks like a fun one. is one of my favorites. The Freaks and Geeks inspired. Not really connected to the story, but I think this is fun. This is fun. I read about this morning, and I think it's I'm getting a little bit of a kick out of it. There's a pretty good chance that all of you out there know that Scooby-Doo it wasn't just a cartoon. It was Saturday morning, a bowl of cereal, the living room floor. 45 years before streaming services started rebooting everything, a talking Great Dane and 4 teenagers were teaching us that mysteries were worth solving. Now Netflix is taking us back to where it all began with a new live-action Scooby-Doo series focused on the origins of Mystery Inc. And honestly, that's what caught my attention. Not the monsters, not the mysteries, the origins. Absolutely. I'm becoming more and more convinced that origin stories are the most important stories that we tell. We spend a lot of time looking at who people are today, the successful entrepreneur, the confident leader, the talented creator, or the person who seems to have it all figured out. But we really stopped to ask, how did they become that person? What struggles shaped them? What failures redirected them? And who helped them along the way? That's one of the reasons we're featuring origin stories across the Mornings in the Lab team on LinkedIn right now. Come check us out. #MITL, #origins, and check us out on LinkedIn. All of those folks that I'm going to show you here in a second are out there telling their origin story, including myself, and I'm here to answer questions and talk about it, what I've learned in life and what I bring to the table. Remember that every expert was once a beginner, every leader was uncertain, and every successful person has chapters most people have never seen. Scooby-Doo may be solving mysteries again, but this time the mystery is one behind the characters themselves. To me, that's a mystery worth exploring for sure, right? Their greatest strength usually begins as a challenge. Confidence starts as insecurity, and success usually has a lot more humanity behind it than we ever imagined, right? So we're going to find out about Scooby-Doo and the Inc.'s origins, and it turns out that the real mystery isn't who the people become, but it's how they got there. Scooby-Doo Origins coming to Netflix. That's it. That is the deal. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. The story part I'm excited about. I don't like with these new Scoobies is I need my Hanna-Barbera animation. The new animation isn't great. Of course, the voices. But this will be interesting. This is going to be a live action, I think, combined with CGI. I'm a little interested. I love origin stories, like I said, and we're out there as Mornings in the Lab Network telling our origin stories. And I'll take a second to share something real quick here. I've shared it before, but I'll share it again because it's what I do. It's what I do. Let's see. Stop screen. I hope I got it. Okay, we're getting there. I shared the link in the comments, but here it is, Michael.network or Mornings.network. That all works. The home of live authority. This is where you will go. We are building this out. People can request their home spot if they want. Absolutely. Telling us 7 mornings, 7 shows, 8 people who refuse to coast, and this is us. I've talked about these people. You can come see them. There's Keith and John, of course, the flagship show. Myself, Cheryl, I talk about Sarah, Paul, and Adam from House of Bricks. Jason Hewlett is here as well, showing his stuff. So this is us. We are building. There's more shows, more interest coming to the network, but please check it out. Mornings in the Lab. Poke around, mornings.network. Visit the studio, see how it's done. And if you're interested, I've also included in our chat stream a little link a Calendly link. Come join me. Why not? Why not? I'd love to talk to you, every single one of you, in person, as friends, as fans, as interested folks. Fun to connect in the chat. More important to connect in person. Absolutely. I'm glad to do it. Click on the link and schedule some time. It's there for you. I'd love to talk to you and help. How can I help you? That's what I am here for. So that's it, man. That's what we're talking about. Scooby-Doo. Anybody got any good Scooby-Doo stories or memories? I know I do. For me, of course, it always comes back to the same thing. Sharing with my children, passing it down generation to generation. My kids, we still watch Scooby-Doo sometimes. There's your insight. 54-year-old man and 20-year-old twins watching Scooby-Doo together. Why not? Actually, our favorite one, there's two that we go back to over and over again. We have them on DVD. They're available out there. The Laugh Olympics. Anybody? Laugh Olympics, the Scooby-Doobies versus the Really Rottens. Remember that group? We love that one. And then, of course, The Mystery of the Werehound or the Werewolf, whatever, Scooby and Shaggy, the Halloween episode. We love those. Okay. TMI? I don't know. I'm filling time as we get moving here. We gave you the second clue. Now let's get into the third. Are you ready for the third clue in our Who's Who? Anybody? Nobody's guessed anything yet. Wow. Usually I have an early guess. Okay, that's fine. We'll keep moving on. I'm curious if anybody has even a clue. Today's mystery person was born in Jerusalem, but became one of the most recognizable faces in American film. At the height of fame, they chose to attend Harvard while simultaneously appearing in an epic movie franchise. And for the record, their degree from Harvard is in psychology. And then the last clue, I think this is going to be the one that's going to push us all right over the edge. Before she was an Oscar winner and Galactic Queen, she made her professional film debut at age 12 opposite a hitman. Do we know? Anybody know who we're talking about? I'll do the compass and we'll come back to the clue if you want to guess. All right. I appreciate that you're all out there. Let's do our compass, though, because we always here on Kindness Rising find a way to give us some way to connect, something to do, to move from thoughts to action on the theme. And of course, today's theme is privacy. So one thing for privacy is boundaries, right? So 5 ways to respect boundaries this week. Ask before sharing someone else's story. Not every story belongs to us. Sometimes they're shared in confidence. Keep that confidence. That's the second. Ask to share someone's story. Keep their confidence because trust compounds. Resist the urge to screenshot everything. Some conversations deserve to stay where they happened. I know I've seen it happen in professional worlds where things get screenshotted or sent around and the message gets misconstrued or problems happen that could have been handled better, differently, in private, or just keeping our mouths shut. Absolutely. All right. Second to last. Excuse me, my coffee's giving me hiccups. Give someone space without taking it personally. Remember, giving someone privacy isn't rejection. When you're ready, when it's your time, if you want to share, I'm here. Those kind of things. Absolutely, because lastly, you want to be the person who makes others feel safe. Not watched, not judged, just safe, because that's where kindness lives and where kindness grows into trust. Those are your 5 ways to respect boundaries this week. Ask before sharing someone's story. Keep one confidence. Resist the urge to screenshot everything. Give someone space without taking it personally, and be the person who makes everyone feel safe. All right. And let's see, who do we got? Anybody? Help the seatbelt law. There it is. Jess came up with it. Natalie Portman. Nope, it wasn't Princess Leia. It was Amidala. Yeah, there she is. Natalie Portman. One of my favorites from our generation, I guess. She turns 45 today. 45 years old, continuing to just have class, and she reminds me of, she's like the Audrey Hepburn. To me, she's like the Audrey Hepburn of our day. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. She's just always so classy, super sophisticated, just always put together. I love it. But she's also a human being. And I love her films. I don't know if anybody else has Natalie Portman feels on her films, but certainly she grew up right alongside of us, right? Leon the Professional. I remember the first time I saw that, this kid, like, what is this? My jaw dropped. An amazing movie. And of course, Padme Amidala from the Star Wars prequels and the memes. Everybody loves the Star Wars prequel memes. And then, even all the way up through, she's Jane Foster in the Thor movies. And of course, we can't forget Black Swan, her Oscar-winning performance. That's another one. Whoa, you want to talk about a mind-bending movie? Yes, Heat. You're correct, Sully. Black Swan, yeah. And then the other one, I'm trying to remember the name of the film, but I really enjoyed it, and I watched it many times, with Uma Thurman and C. Thomas Howell, Natalie Portman. C. Thomas Howell comes back to his hometown, and Natalie Portman's the young kid that lives next door. Anybody help me? It's not Mean Girls. It's something Girls. Better Girls? Something like that. I forget. But that was actually a fun movie. We got apps. Matt Dillon was in that movie. Anybody got it? I was trying to remember the name of it. Terrible. Usually I have a better memory than that, but love that movie. The Sweet Caroline in the bar, just great scenes. We got apps. All right. Anyway, Portman I think she was really cool. She attended Harvard and got her psych degree while she was filming the Star Wars prequels. That's pretty cool. She has academic research that's been published. She went on to win the Oscar for that intense movie, Black Swan, one that you watch once and you're like, okay, I saw it, I'm good. Anyway, love me some Natalie Portman. Let's wish her a happy birthday. We wished Jess a happy birthday yesterday. Today we'll wish Natalie Portman a happy birthday. I didn't get an invite to her birthday party this year. I was a little offended, but that's okay. Maybe next year I'll be invited. All right, enough with this nonsense. I am so glad again that you've joined us here on Mornings in the Lab Network. It has helped me today. I feel great heading into my day as I get up and get after it more on the Mornings in the Lab Network. Absolutely. Today's show was a little bit about origins, right? We started with Edward Snowden, the whistleblower, and his story reminds us that debates about privacy, AI, and surveillance, they're ongoing. They're going to continue for as long as this stuff exists. Absolutely. Then we had Natalie Portman. Most people know the actor, but fewer know her as the student, the researcher, and the Harvard graduate. Absolutely. Her origin story reveals a much fuller picture than the headlines ever could reveal. And now Scooby-Doo is getting his own origin story too. From Gen X kids, the Saturday morning staple is becoming, we're going to find out where he really came from and learn how the Mystery Inc. got started. There is a thread, kind of, that connects all three. Too often we judge people by the chapter we're seeing right now. But kindness invites us to be curious about the chapters that came before, because every person has a story, every idea has history, and every journey has an origin. Sometimes understanding where something where something began helps us better understand where it is today. Thank you for joining me. Now get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Stick with us here on the Mornings in the Lab Network. Go to mornings.network, click on the chat thing, schedule some time with me. I'd love to meet you in person. And until then, or until tomorrow morning, whichever comes first, stay uncommon and stay kind.